Hello, everybody. How are you all doing today? How are you all doing today? How are you doing? Well, my name is Dorothy, and today I'm going to continue with my story. Yesterday, I talked about self esteem, low self esteem, and this was something that really messed me up in the past. And after learning that bitter lesson of trying to bring yourself up, trying to just ignore anything that will push you down, I feel much better. I am out of the woods, but not completely out of the woods. Sadly, I'm still about 98%. I mean, I'm still about 2% off. I still have to get myself to that point where I was before all this drama started. But I thank God that at least I'm somewhere. I'm not like in those situations anymore. And I want to encourage you, if you're going through anything and you feel like your self-esteem is being disturbed or is being taken advantage of, I want you to say no to that. You alone can build yourself. Nobody can build yourself for you. Even a therapist can talk to you from now till tomorrow. It is you, it is what you want to do that you will do. So whenever you have the opportunity of getting someone to talk to you, or even when you're watching this video, I want you to know that self-esteem can kill. It will destroy you. It will mess you up. It will turn you to nothing. And even before people condemn you, you condemn yourself because that's what you think you are. So please, 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 if you're going through that situation now, I want you to look for help and try to help yourself. Don't wallow in that pain. And you did not cause any problem. You did not put yourself in that situation. That's one thing that low self-esteem will tell you. Oh, you are the one that put yourself. Stop putting all the blames on you. Yeah, I understand that you can take some of the blames, but you don't have to take all the blames. Okay, so just try to do the right thing and move on, and stop lingering in that, because that will keep you there forever. If I never made up my mind in the first place to go get therapy, I will still be in that situation. But I made up my mind. I said, no, I have to go. I have to take care of myself. And that's how the healing started. So please take care of yourself. Take care of you, because nobody's going to do that for you. Having said that, I'm going to go into the topic of today. It's still a little bit on self esteem, but I'm going to tell you a story of how a Nigerian man here in Maryland bought my car. After buying, I mean, he took my car, sold it for me, and the arrangement or agreement was that he would use the proceeds to get me a van, because I was looking for a van. After that accident or incident on New York Avenue, I became scared of, excuse me, so I became so scared of that car. I became very scared of it. So I decided to sell it. So I contacted a man who sells cars, and he said, okay, I'll take it to the auction, I'll sell it, and whatever I sell out from there, I'll use it and get you a van. And if you are supposed to add more money, you will. But if I get something in the range of how much I sell the car, I'll do that for you. I said, okay. So he took this car to the dealership. He sold it. He called me a few hours later because the car was that car was a good car, clean car. So he sold it and said, "Oh, I sold it for 1,200. That's how much I sold it." I said, "Oh, good." Or he told me something low. I can't really remember. This is over 15 years ago, so it's kind of hard for me to remember now. But I think he sold it for something around the neighborhood of 1,200 or so. So when he sold this car, I said, okay, I'm gonna look for a van here today before I come back. I said, okay. So a few hours later, he called me, said, oh, I got a van for you. He said, the thing is that you have to add $300 to it because it's higher than the car. I said, okay, fine. So he brought this van to me. He gave me the papers, the title, and everything. I gave him um, I ran, no, I was supposed to, sorry, I was supposed to give him 800 more. So I ran to the ATM machine. I got $500. I gave him, I said, okay, I'm going to owe you 300 till the end of the month. I'll give it to you. He said, okay. So I left with the van, very clean van. I was so happy that night. I drove it home and everything, and then I started going to work with it. After about 3 weeks or so, I got a letter from the NVA that I did not return the tax of the car that I sold. So I called him immediately. I said, the NVA just contacted me that you did not return the tax, because I told him I was going to take the tax off the day he was taking the car. I said, no, no, I need the tax to drive it down to the auction. So I said, you didn't return the tax. Oh, yeah, yeah, it's my car. I'm going to return it. And he did not return it. So at the end of the month, and I mean, that was They, after the NVA contacted me, they also billed me, I think 380 or so for the delay. So at the end of the month, before I gave him the 300, I wanted to go give him the $300, but then I realized he has still not paid for the tax. So I called him. I said, "Why haven't you returned the tax?" He said, "Oh, that he doesn't even know where the tax is, this and that." It's okay. I said, "I'm not going to wait anymore." I said, "You know, I'm owing you 300. So can I use that to replace it? So whenever you can, since you said you can't find the tax, you pay the NVA. I mean, I'll use the 300 and pay the NVA. Or what do you want me to do?" He said, that I should go ahead, whatever I want to do. So that settled it. I said, okay. So um, after few weeks, this man called me and said, "Oh, the NVA contacted him." I said, "How can they contact you? You're not the owner of the vehicle." He said, "Well, he was the one that returned it." And he told one cock and bull story about how, something was wrong with the tax and this and that. I said, "Well, that's not my business. I've given you the balance that I owe you, and you are supposed to pay that to the NVA because you are the one that delayed the tax." So that was like exactly a month after I got the van. So after one whole month of driving the van again, that is the second month of driving the van, he suddenly called me. He said, "Oh yeah, BG, you know what? This morning I can't really pay because I'm really, really not financially buoyant. I've bought a lot of cars, so I don't really have that 300. You know what you do? They told me that there's a program going on in Maryland where you can get where the NVA can forgive you anything you owe them." I'm like, "Right?" He said, "Right. It's okay. If that's what you want to do, that's fine." So he said, "No, I can't do it until I have to use your title to go." I said, "But what does this van have to do with the car?" He said, "Because they're all tied together, because he was the one that purchased the van. He was also the one that registered it for me. I forgot to say that because I paid him extra to register the van for me." So he said, "Because everything is tied to him." And this, I said, "But the title is in my name." He said, "Yes, but everything is tied. I should just bring the title." So one evening he came to my house and I brought out the title. He said, "Okay, you have to sign it." I said, "Why am I signing it? If I sign it, it's like I'm selling it." He said, "No, no, no." He said, "They have to see your signature to know that you are the owner and this and that." This man convinced me that I had to sign the title. And I didn't know what he was doing at that point. I was kind of skeptical, but I said, "No, this is an elderly person. He will not play me that type of game." So he left with my title. 1 month passed, a month and a half was going, and I called him. I said, "What is happening with my title?" He said, "Oh, okay. Can you stop by at the house anytime when you're going to work tomorrow or when you're coming back from work and get the title?" I said, "Okay." So I drove down to his house, and as I got there, he was outside cleaning a car or something. And he said, "Oh, go inside. My mother-in-law is in the house. Everybody has gone to work, but my mother-in-law is in the house. Go in the house, and then when I finish cleaning this car, I'll come in." I said, "I'm going to work." He said, "No, no, no, I'm done already." So their house sits on this this the house, all the houses in that area has this long, high or steps that you have to climb to get into the house. So I was getting on that step to climb up to get into the house, and I suddenly heard a car move, and I turned around. This man was driving my van. He was in my van. And I said, "Hey, hey, what is happening?" He just waved at me like, "Oh, he's coming, he's coming." And he drove up the van. He drove off. So I went inside. I waited for like 20 minutes. I noticed that he was still not back. So I called my boss at work and told them I have family emergency, that I may not be able to come to work today. That is a family emergency. So my boss allowed me to stay for the day. So I just sat down there waiting for this man. I waited from that 7:30 or 7:15. I waited till about 2 o'clock. Before then, I spoke to the mother-in-law. I said, "Mama, can you call this person for me?" Because he stopped picking my calls that day. I said, "Please, can you call him for me? This and that and this." And the mama said, how will he do that?" "Okay, let me call him." So the mama called and he picked. He told the mama that they should tell the Yabeji to go. Tell her to go, because I was hearing him shouting on the phone. "Tell her to go. I don't owe her anything. No, I sold a van to her. She didn't pay me a dime, so I've taken my van to sell." And I was like, "What did he just say?" I said, "Mama, what did he just say?" Mama said, "You too. Why did you carry van you didn't pay?" I said, "Mama, why would I carry a van without paying? Am I his girlfriend? Am I his sister? So why would he give me the van free? So the mama said, well, he's a very stubborn person. He's gone. He said he's already on his way to Pennsylvania or somewhere to sell the van. Guys, I didn't know what to do that day. My head just went down. And this was the peak of my low self-esteem. This was the peak of it, the time that I was really going through that. I couldn't even speak where people were speaking. I couldn't even, if they took my child from me and I couldn't, get my child out by talking to people, is it a car that I'll be able to get out? So I just cried my eyes out that evening, and I called a friend of mine to come pick me. So I went back home. I went to pick up my children from school and I went back home. When I got home, I called my pastor. Then I used to go to that Nigerian pastor, the pastor that they said was a ritualist and things like that. So I called him. I said, please, that this is what happened, because he's a Yoruba person. So I was hoping that he'll be able to talk to the man and let him know, just talk to him as a man. So my pastor called me back very late in the night. He said, yeah, Beji. I said, sir. He said, but why didn't you pay that man? Why did you carry the van without paying? He said, you did promise and pay and you never paid. I said, but sir, you know the car. You know my car. He said, yes. I said, he's the one that bought it. He's the one that sold it. He was supposed to use the proceeds to get me a car. So the pastor was like, oh, no, you don't deal with men like that in Maryland. Whenever you want to do something, just let me know. And I'm like, I can't be telling somebody everything I want to do. I'm not a toddler. But he was like, next time you want to buy something like that, just let me know. The man said you didn't pay him. But don't worry, I'll see what I'll do. So then that same night, the pastor called me back very late. He said, Sir Dorothy, I said, yes, sir. He said, go and pick your car in the morning. I've paid him 1,200. I mean, I'm going to pay him 1,200. I said, no, 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 sir. No, 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 no. I paid that man. He said, I'll come in the morning. I'll give you the check and you have to go give him. So true to his words, the pastor and his wife came very early in the morning. They were even there before 6 because they go to work. Their workplace is far, so they always leave early. So they got to my house and they gave me a check. Oh, did they give me the night before? I can't remember much, but I know they gave me the check. It was maybe in the morning or that same night he came. I think it was that same night he came. And then early in the morning, he called me around 5:30 when they were on their way to work to ask me if I was going to go and give the man the money. And I said yes. So I took the check to the man. And when I got there, he was outside as usual. No, he was not outside. His cars were outside as usual because this was a little bit earlier than normal. This was around before 7 o'clock, around 6:30, 6:45. So, because he told the pastor to tell me to come early that he was going out. So I got there and I rang the doorbell. And this man came out. When he came out with his face all frowned up like he was really looking angry. And I greeted him. He didn't even reply me. He said, what are you doing here this time? I said, sir, I have come to pick up my car. I said, this is the check. But you know that I paid you for this car. So if you say you want to collect another money, this is the check. Please release the car to me. And this man screamed, is that why you came to my house this early? Is that why you should come to my house this early? Why would you come to my house this early? And I said, sir, I came this early because, I'm going to work. And the pastor already told me that you said I should come early. This man became so angry. And in that process of anger, he took the check and cut them into shreds and threw them all away. Just threw it in the air. So I ran and I started picking up the checks. I picked up the pieces. And I said, why are you doing this? He said, get out of my house before I call police for you. So I left. I think I called a friend of mine who took me to work because I couldn't call out that day. So I left for work. In the evening, when I got to work, I called my pastor and I told him what happened. The pastor was like, what? I said, yes, sir, he thought the check. The pastor said, well, thank God he thought the check. He didn't cash it. So I'm going to give you the cash so you can go to the auction and buy yourself a car. And that was what he did. He gave me 1,200 in cash the next day, and I went to the auction and I bought that car. You remember that car that got burnt? The car that I said he bought for me. That's how he bought that car for me. So I paid for the car, and I got a new car at the dealership. The pastor assigned a young man in the church to go with me. So I got a car at the dealership, a very nice car, but I was back to square one because this very car was a two-door car. And that was the only car I could afford at the auction that day. I was looking for a van. Now I'm back to two-door car. So I bought a two-door car and I just kept managing it. And I used that car for a long time before it got burnt. got miraculously burnt. The story is in my on my collection, so you see the story of how that car got burnt. But yeah, that's how I got this car, and this man sold this car, and this man had no remorse. That day he was just screaming at me, Shebi Otimo, Yabeji, Shebi Otimo, Shebi Otimo, which means cut your coat according to your size. And I'm like, what coat am I not cutting? What size should I cut it to? What are you talking about? He said, why are you buying van? And instead of you to buy a small car that fits you, you want to buy van, you want to belong, oh my goodness. This man said so much that I started crying. He was like, who are you? You are not even up to the people that will buy a van. Why would you want a van? So if they call van owners, you want to come out. I'm telling you guys, this was what this man was saying to me. This man was just cussing me out like I don't know. And this was what I went through those days. People would just pick on me and say things and just abuse me without any remorse. Because to them, I'm a loose woman who sold her child and then have two children for the same person that took the child. They just judged me, and anybody anywhere could talk to me anyhow. I am not kidding you guys. People could talk to me anyhow. People were talking to me anyhow. And I didn't even have the strength of challenging anybody. Once people cuss me out, all I do is walk away. That was all I did in those days. I remember a day I went to the laundromat to wash, and as I was coming out with my basket of clothes, a car was parked beside my car. I put my children in, put my clothes in. As I was trying to step into the driver's door, she said, hey, sister, hey, sister. And I looked because she was just beside me. The car was just parked beside me. And I said, hi. He said, oh, your face looks so smooth. What do you use? And innocent me, I said, oh, I do this at night. I just started telling her all my beauty tips and everything. And she said, is that why you think you can take so and so person's husband? Because you think you are beautiful. After selling your child to them, you still want to harass them. Shame on you. Guys, I am not saying this. I've always promised you that in this, my story, I'll always tell you the truth. So people were talking to me anyhow in those days. Anyhow. And that was what brought about my low self-esteem. That pushed me down. That really put me to the lowest level. I became scared of talking to people because I was scared of them cussing me out. Even when you do something against me, I can't talk to you. I can't defend myself. Because I feel like, these people, they have money. They have this. Not knowing that I was even better than most of them. Yeah. Because all these people that insulted me all those days, they see me now. I've gotten to their stage. Some of them have even passed their situation. I've gone past them financially and otherwise. But these were people who were looking down on me those days that they felt like I was nothing. They felt like I was a nobody. They felt they could just talk to me. They felt like they could get away with saying anything to me. I had nobody to defend me. I have nobody to talk to. I had no defense for myself. Nothing. I would just swallow all the words they say to me and I would walk away. I would just walk away. And that kept pushing me down until they finally totally put me all the way down to the bottom. And I had to take myself back up by the grace of God. Today there's nobody that can intimidate me anymore. Nobody. You cannot intimidate me because you're richer than me. You cannot intimidate me because you're more beautiful than me. You cannot intimidate me for no reason. I won't even take it. Though I'm still very, very quiet and calm, but I don't give people the chance to intimidate me anymore. And that's what I want you to do. Don't let people who are not even up to you start to talk to you because of the situation you find yourself in. All these women that were insulting me, they can't even bear what I bore. I went through all that nonsense without messing myself up. Yeah, I can boldly say that. And I always say whenever I'm making videos, the men in Maryland who were chasing after me, trying to take advantage of me, most of them will be watching me. And if you think you got me, you can put the comment down. And that will be between you and your God. If you put it down because you want to spite me, that's okay. And God will judge you. But deep down inside you, you know what happened. So, guys, I went through this rubbish back and forth, back and forth. My fellow women will insult me, men will insult me, people who are not even up to me in age will insult me. And because of the way I put myself, it wasn't because I wasn't beautiful then. I was very beautiful because I was younger. It wasn't because I was in anything, but I put it in my head that I'm raggedy, I'm dirty, I'm not big enough, I'm not good enough, I'm nothing. Because of what I went through, my fellow woman taking my child from me brought my morals down, brought it down. Because she would also go about telling people all kinds of stories. Oh, she just wants to snatch my husband. She's just after my husband. And the husband will go about telling people too, oh, she's just a bitter girlfriend. I never dated you. Yes, I never dated this man. We did not have any romantic relationship up till now. Till tomorrow. We never had any relationship. But he would, when this story came out a few years ago, he was telling people that I was just a bitter girlfriend who was a bitter, jilted woman or so. He was telling people, oh, she's just angry because I didn't marry her. Marry me. You steal my child and you want to marry me. How would that work? How would it be? So, guys, this is what I went through in the hands of this evil couple and other people that they turned against me. But I thank God. I thank God that I survived it. I thank God that I'm here telling the story today. I thank God that I did not die in that situation. I thank God that I picked up myself and I said, you know what? I have to go. And I did. And that's what I'm asking you to do today. Never allow anybody take advantage of your situation, because in the first place, you did not put yourself in there. Even if you did put yourself in there, it's none of their business to bully you. So stand up for yourself and talk for yourself. No matter how low you think you are, get up and talk for yourself. Don't let people bully you. Don't let them say anything about you. Don't let them say anything about you that will make you feel like you're worthless. Because you are not. You are not worthless. You are somebody. And only you can bring you out of that situation. Nobody else can. I took myself out of it. I took myself out of it and I decided to go for therapy. And I did it for 1 year. 1 year of therapy. And that's why I can even talk. So, ladies, because I know this hits ladies more. Ladies, don't allow anybody intimidate you. You're going through divorce and your husband is just intimidating you, saying stuff about you, messing you up. Don't allow that to go on. Don't put that in your head. You are not what people say you are. You are what God says you are. Except you're not following the pathway of God's teachings. If you're following God, I'm not talking about going to church. Let's not bring church into this, because church is zero. If you are following your God the way you should, He'll take care of your situation. So don't allow anybody bring you down. Cling on to God. Just find a way to have that relationship with Him. And He will take care of your situation. Thank you so much for watching me today, guys. I truly appreciate you, but I have to stop here. Until next time, this is Dorothy, and this is my story.